King Shantanu was left a broken man, ruling a kingdom with a hollow heart. 16 years passed, each day a reminder of the love he had lost and the son he had never known. He would often wander the banks of the Ganga, a silent pilgrim searching for a ghost. One day, he saw the impossible. The mighty river, usually flowing with immense power, seemed to be obstructed. A young man glowing with a divine aura stood alone, holding back the entire river with a barrage of celestial arrows. He had created a dam of weapons. Shantanu watched in utter disbelief. Who was this youth who could command the very goddess his father once loved? Just then, Ganga herself arose from the waters. With a sad smile, she presented the boy to Shantanu. "O king," she said, her voice echoing with the love and sorrow of years past, "this is our 8th son, Devavrata. I have raised him, and he has been trained by the great sages Parashurama and Brihaspati. He has mastered the Vedas and is unparalleled in the art of war. He is your heir, take him." Nenjovai returned to Hastinapura. Devavrata was the perfect son, wise, powerful and righteous. The kingdom finally had its crown prince. For a time, Shantanu's life was complete. But fate is rarely so simple, and years later, while hunting again, the king was captivated by a fragrance so enchanting it seemed to perfume the very air. He followed it to the river and found its source, a beautiful maiden named Satyavati, the daughter of a simple ferryman. Once again, Shantanu fell deeply in love. He went to her father and asked for her hand in marriage. Nthe ferryman, a shrewd and ambitious man, looked at the great king and saw an opportunity. "Great king," he said, bowing low, "it is an honor beyond measure, but I have one condition. You must promise me that the son born to my daughter, Satyavati, will inherit the throne of Hastinapura." Ns Shantanu was horrified. The throne belonged to Devavrata, his godlike firstborn son. To deny him his birthright was unthinkable. Torn between his newfound love and his duty to his son, the king returned to his palace in silent despair, his heart once again trapped in a cage of sorrow. Devavrata saw his father wasting away in misery and knew something was wrong. After learning the cause of the king's grief, he did something no one expected. Without a moment's hesitation, Devavrata, the crown prince, went alone to the humble hut of the ferryman. And standing before Satyavati and her father, he made his first declaration. "I, Devavrata, son of Shantanu, renounce my claim to the throne of Hastinapura." The son of Satyavati will be king. Nthe ferryman was stunned, but his ambition was not yet sated. "A noble sacrifice, my prince," he countered slyly. "But what of your children? Will they not fight my grandchildren for the kingdom?" Devavrata looked at the calculating ferryman, then at Satyavati, and then towards the heavens. He understood what true sacrifice demanded. He raised his right hand and spoke the words that would seal his destiny and shake the foundations of the world. "I vow," his voice boomed clear and absolute, "that I shall remain a brahmachari for all my life. I will never marry. I will never have children. The line of Shantanu will continue only through Satyavati." Nthe universe itself shuddered at the intensity of this promise. Celestial beings appeared in the sky, showering flowers and crying out, "Bhishma, Bhishma," meaning he of the terrible vow. From that day on, Devavrata was gone. He was now Bhishma. Nhi's father Shantanu, overjoyed and indebted, granted Bhishma a powerful boon, the ability to choose the moment of his own death. He would be invincible until he himself willed it. Bhishma had secured his father's happiness and seemingly the future of the kingdom. And in But, as the celebrations for the new marriage began, a shadow loomed over the palace. By removing himself from the line of succession, has Bhishma truly saved Hastinapura? Or has he, in his magnificent sacrifice, simply left its throne vulnerable to the ambitions of a new queen and a future no one could predict? For a vow so terrible, a price must surely be paid, and the entire kingdom would be the one to pay it.